we developed our rule in Alabama. We have not tested cattle for brucellosis for a long time, so we didn't, and that rule had gone away for many years for us, so we didn't do like Texas. We kind of had to start over. But like all of you here in the room, we've been working with our state animal ID working group, which included industry reps from all the species groups. So we've been watching this, working with those guys for a good long while, and so I will not take credit for the rule that we have that we came forward with in Alabama. I was approached by the beef industry leadership over, I guess, maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago, and saying to me, Dr. Frazier, what do we do? And so I said to those guys, are you really sure what you're asking for here? Because you're asking for us to regulate you, basically. And that's how the dialogue started for me, with industry coming to me, which is a unique opportunity, I think. But that didn't come about just because I'm a handsome guy. That came about for many years, Nate Yeager, of us working with these guys, not always agreeing, but the livestock markets, the Cattlemen's Association, our Farm Bureau, our Alabama Farmers Federation, we've worked together for many years, and so they came to me, what do we do? And then, Neil, we actually had the draft of the proposed plan, and so what we kind of did for a year was took that draft proposal. We didn't have an old brucellosis rule to write off at that time, so we sort of took the draft of what was coming and decided that if we wanted intrastate movement identification, that let's not create something that when the federal rule, we were sure that you guys would be able to do this, and so just not sure when, but then, so when that did happen, then the producers and industry groups, markets would not be, oh, here's another completely different set of stuff that we've got to learn about. So that's the route that we chose, and so back in August, our board, Department of Agriculture, passed the rule, and it basically said just cattle 18 months of age and older must be officially identified at change of ownership. And then the other stuff was in there too. There's the other rodeo stock and dairy cattle and show animals. That's in there. We also specifically say in our rule that cattle moving interstate, and whenever this would happen, that you have to comply with requirements to the state of destination, and must be accompanied by appropriate documents such as CVI. That's in our rule, so nothing really new there. We do have exemptions. Now this is intrastate movement. If a cow by chance, we don't have a large cull slaughter facility in Alabama, but should an adult cow or bull, whatever, breaks his leg or whatever, moves directly to a custom slaughter plant, then they're technically exempt. Okay. Now, as the Honorable Neil, Mr. Hammersmith mentioned, sheep and goats are covered by the scraper rule. Now, this you can't see this, and you don't have to read it, but this is what our official rule kind of looks like. It's only 3 or 4 pages long. It's relatively simple and straightforward. Cattle 18 months of age, you can't read it, but down here at the bottom is where it just says 18 months of age and older must be officially identified. Okay, that's what our rule looks like. That's what it says. And Dr. Holt asked about enforcement. We've been asked by our producer groups, the average cattle owner, what are you going to do? How are you going to enforce this? Well, it's like any other rule that we have in the state of Alabama. We'll enforce them when we can and where we can. We got some guys still making bootleg whiskey. In Alabama, some of my cousins probably, but we enforce what we can. I appreciate Neil's analogy of the speed limit. Oftentimes I drive to the office and nobody checks to see if I have my seatbelt on. So those are issues that I think we'll work through and as time moves along. What we did do is we developed a brochure, very simple. We didn't have a lot of money, and so we just had some of the really smart kids at the office. They put a little brochure together with some pictures, and it's a trifold thing, and mentions our working group. It has 3 pictures on there of 3 types of official ID. That's the brucellosis tag, the brucellosis vaccination tag, and then this RFID tag. And we don't mention 900 series. Now we just say 840. And when we're asked, well, hey, doctor, we got some show cabs that's got the 900 series, then we'll discuss that. Yes, it's okay for the time being. What about tattoos, Dr. Frazier, or what about a brand? If they don't ask, we don't mention it necessarily. But when they're asked, then we'll explain that those things and those other methods of ID can be used. But on this brochure, we handed it out to stockyards, feed stores, Tupperware parties, wherever we can, and have our field people. And also we've had good partnership with our veterinary services in our state, VMOs and AEC. They're handing these things out. Every time we meet with the producer groups, our Farmers Federation, then we have these things. And in that trifold is just a little description of the program, a little bit of the details of our rule, exemptions, and then there's a way over here for you to register your premises. We still assign all these tags. We distribute them to from my office, and we assign them to a premises number. We have the standardized premise registration system, and then down at the bottom here, you want some tags? Write it down. We'll send you some. We have made a decision in Alabama to distribute tags to producers, to livestock markets, or if you can fog up a mirror. You probably can't see this very well in the back either, but one of our concerns was markets. This is the red square is a true livestock market. There'll be 26 or 7 of those, and the blue squares is just a weekend sheep and goat poultry weekend market usually. But the 26 or 27 markets in Alabama. What, Dr. Frazier, will you enforce this at the markets? And we do not force the market. What I mean enforce, we do not force the markets to tag cattle. It won't work, Dr. Frazier, if you don't make the stockyards tag cows. So we purposefully, from my standpoint, chose to not do that. We informed the markets that they were able to tag cattle. Our rule says change of ownership, and we consider markets agents. And let me tell you, as of today, as we're speaking of these markets, there's only one market in Alabama that are not tagging cattle. So I didn't need to create a rule that required them to tag. They're all doing it. Sorry, Dr. Pope. One market down in Dr. Cobb, one market here in the southeast corner and we'll just have to talk to them and be nice to them, and maybe they'll come along. Okay? We've distributed over 100,000 metal ear tags. This was as of last week, and since January the 1st of this year, we've distributed 45,000 tags. We have nearly 10,000 premises registered. I thought we had a few more than that, but and I guarantee you that since I've been here, my secretary has shipped out several hundred metal ear tags. We encourage producers to investigate electronic tags. That's what we think that that we ought to move to, and we'll talk about those. We'll help them get information about that. But this will be the silver bright tags, you may call them, the number of tags that we've distributed so far, all to a premises number. And we've had a little bit of a couple of trace exercises. We can. It's not very scientific yet. We will be entering these into the quarter one, but it's pretty simple right now. If they're putting tags in at the stockyards, they're associating that with a back tag. If you're putting that in at your home or your farm, then we know that where we've distributed those tags, and my secretary, she can within a few, I shouldn't say minutes, but really within the short period of time, right now she can tell who we distributed those tags to. It's working right now. We know, and I know that we can't do that forever. We will have to be a little more sophisticated and electronic as we go forward and distribute more tags. You probably can't see this either, but this is an interesting picture of a veterinarian we took 3 or 4 years ago now. This is a veterinarian collecting a BSE sample. I asked one of our field people to get me some pictures of a veterinarian collecting the BSE sample. And when he sent this to me, this was 3 or 4 years ago, I happened to notice in this cow's ear was an old silver tag still there, still identifiable, still using the number. That tag would have had to have been put in that cow back 99, 98, just before we quit testing cattle at the stockyard. So those tags do and can work, and I don't think that it's the very best or the Cadillac on the road, but let me tell you, in the nitty-gritty world, I think they will get a cow identified.